Owning a chiropractic practice, or many businesses for that matter, can make it seem like it's impossible to get some serious downtime or vacation time. I mean, after all, you wear so many hats. You're the owner, perhaps you're the doctor, to marketer, to a rehab specialist, to a coder, to a biller, to a janitor, and to a billing specialist. The list is exhausting, even thinking about all the different hats that you wear on a day-to-day basis. And to make matters worse, if you want to take a vacation, you take a pay cut, because you have to close the practice while you're gone. It hardly seems fair, right? I mean, did you go to college for 8 years not to have freedom, not to have paid vacations? Me either. Can you identify with this challenge? I mean, if so, you are absolutely not alone. So in this video today, I'm going to be discussing the elusive unicorn called work-life balance and getting paid vacations. This can be your reality. It really can be, but it takes a really good plan executed with precision. And if you have the discipline, you can have incredible freedom as a practice or business owner. In fact, when I owned 4 of the largest chiropractic clinics in the country, the first of which was by far the largest in the state, it required about an hour and a half a day of my time each day to manage those businesses. I'm Dr. Chris Tomshack, CEO of HealthSource, America's chiropractor, and you're watching the Chiropractor Solution channel, which is a video series that helps you grow your practice or your business, your career, both professionally and personally. So before we dive into the very real potential of actually owning a clinic that creates more freedom for you rather than less, make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you can continue receiving these videos. And if you like what you see, please give us a thumbs up. Make it easier for other chiropractors to find this content. It's kind of how it works. Now, let's dive in. Building or scaling a practice that creates freedom for you while actually increasing your income, it doesn't happen by writing it down on a dream board or turning it into a daily affirmation. Though I love those concepts and employ them in my life, that's not what does it. It only becomes a reality when you finally make the decision that you're going to do something to make it happen, assuming that you, of course, have the plan and strategy fully mapped out in advance, because it's a precursor. Now, this is a bit of caution here, okay? The great majority of DCs I've witnessed attempt this strategy in trying to get that work-life balance, well, they failed in the long term. Why? Because they didn't follow the plan exactly as written. And when followed correctly, I've seen this thing work every single time. Work-life balance can be yours. In my personal practicing career, when I engaged all the strategic elements and executed them correctly, it changed my life forever. Still affects me today. Plus, the clinics that I owned actually grew by a lot. I was down to managing my clinics for about an hour and a half a day, all 4 of them, while creating massive freedom. And at the same time, my income rose dramatically. You can do the same thing. So let's talk about the first step. The first step to complete autonomy and freedom is to first scale your practice, scale your business so that it's quite successful. It's a different discussion. And what's that mean? Well, you define the word successful. Set your own target. Maybe that target is defined by practice revenue. Maybe it's patient visits, and I wouldn't go that way. It's a very antiquated way of thinking. Or maybe it's your personal income. I do recommend you set it as your personal income so it's much easier to track as you scale. Now, in most cases, that means you should find a mentor. Absolutely find a mentor. And you do that because great mentorship can literally shave decades off your personal learning curve. And regular coaching from a mentor that has done successfully exactly what you're trying to do or what your goal is, what you want to accomplish, that will pay off like you can't imagine. Whatever they charge becomes inconsequential as you attain the ultimate goal of massive personal freedom in a practice or business that establishes impeccable patient outcomes and income levels that most don't even think is a possibility. When I built that freedom into my life, my kids were younger, a lot younger than they are today, and actively engaged in travel sports. Maybe you can relate. And that eventually evolved into collegiate athletics, and with my daughter playing tennis and my older son playing baseball. I can count on one hand, the times I missed a game. No matter what state it was played in, I was there. And the businesses never shut down. They ran as a beautiful, well-honed system. In fact, that's the way my businesses run today at full tilt. Whether or not I'm there, I wouldn't have it any other way. And I hope that you can understand that and perhaps are thinking about putting that into your life as well. Is this what you're looking to create in your life? I mean, if so, please tell me about your dream. and the kind of freedom that you'd like to have present in your life as a result of attaining that dream. Just type it in the comments section, and I look forward to hearing about your comments. Writing out your dream in detail, it's a critical step, so please employ it, have at it. Now, employing the help of an experienced and trusted mentor can get you to the level that you define as successful much faster than fighting to climb the ladder one battle or one rung at a time. It's priceless. It allows you to skip rungs. Let's assume you're there. You now have the practice or business that you've dreamed of creating, at least to the point where you consider yourself to be successful, again, by your terms. That's mission number one, and that's a good one. And if you never go any further, that's great. But let's go further. Mission number two is starting to build the matrix that will ultimately net out the freedom that you would really like to create in your life. You can have that. There's a very good book written a number of years ago. It's called The E-Myth, and it was written by Michael Gerber. And paraphrasing, Gerber says that you need to spend more time working on your business than in your business. Now, as a chiropractor, that means you need to evolve your role so that you eventually can practice or have the ability to practice less and lead and manage more. What's that mean? Well, it means ultimately you need to begin to create the ability for you to be either on the tables or off the tables at will or at a moment's notice. So in turn, being on the tables, of course, means you're treating patients. Being off the tables means you're no longer treating patients. This concept applies to pretty much all businesses, hands down. And you do that by beginning to replace yourself. And to start that process, you need to wear less hats in the business. You need to do less things. So for a DC, that means you begin to delegate every role you currently hold except treating patients. This means you no longer answer the phones, you don't schedule people, you don't perform any type of rehab, you're not hooking people up, you don't clean the office or perform any billing functions. You hire and expertly trained people to do these roles for you. And as you do this, you're replacing yourself from so many of the burdens of running a business, burdens that you shouldn't be encumbered with. And by the way, as you do this successfully, your business, your practice will grow because you've increased your capacity because you're doing less things, extraneous things all day long. You're truly become a specialist or a CEO, if you will. And if you stop there, you'll have a level of freedom that few ever possess in their entire career. But know this, there is so much more freedom that you can attain. And the next step, if you're going to go that route, is after you've delegated many of the tasks off your plate, to hire an expertly trained and associate doctor. This is a step-by-step training process, onboarding process that cannot be rushed. Your associate needs to possess three characteristics. They get it, they want it, and they're capable of doing it. Really critical. Your job, assuming they have those characteristics, is to train them so they have the tools to perform as good or nearly as good as you perform. This is an exacting process. It cannot be rushed. It must be done meticulously correct. Now, when your associate has achieved certain waypoints, they're finally ready to begin seeing patients, a little at first while you monitor and course correct, coach. And as they attain greater proficiency, they'll begin to see more patients, and then they'll begin to see some new patients. Again, this system cannot be overly rushed or the whole thing will crash and burn very fast. Take your time and you'll build practice that's the envy of every other chiropractor around. That means nothing, honestly. But what does count is that you are a step away from the most freedom that you can possibly imagine creating in your life for you and for your family. Now, once your associate chiropractor is ready for full-time patient duty and they prove themselves capable at every step along the way by measuring those waypoints, you're ready for a beautiful vacation while your office sees all the normal volume of patients. If you've been diligent in your mentorship and training of your associate doctor, patient volume will not drop. In return, you've just had your very first fully paid vacation. Heck, your practice may have even grown the week or two you're gone. The week or two you're gone. Now, warning, the worst thing you can do is rush this process. I've seen this happen many, many times. If you hire an associate and immediately take a vacation, like that next month or 2 months, oh my gosh, everything will crush. I've seen this happen. It's 100% certain to completely break. Your associate's probably going to quit, and you're back to square number one, and you're a little upset and depressed. Don't do any of those things. Take your time. Do it right. This is a meticulous art. If you found this video interesting and helpful, grab our free report for chiropractors at hsfranchising.com. It'll show you how to scale your state-of-the-art practice. It's a game plan we've followed to make these last few years the most amazing growth we've ever had. You can attain the same thing. We've blown away our projections. You can too. If you want what others have, do what they do, and you'll get what they get. So again, head on over to hsfranchising.com, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care.